Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Gloria Stuart passed away at the age of 100. Gloria Stuart was a distinguished American actress, visual artist, and activist, whose career spanned the golden age of Hollywood and experienced a remarkable resurgence in the late 1990s. Born Gloria Frances Stuart on July 4, 1910, in Santa Monica, California, she first emerged as a leading lady of the 1930s, featuring in important classic films before retreating from the spotlight for decades. She gained renewed international fame and critical acclaim for her Oscar-nominated role as the elder Rose Dawson Calvert in James Cameron's Oscar-winning film Titanic, 1997. Gloria began acting while still in high school and later studied drama and philosophy at the University of California, Berkeley. She made her film debut with Universal Pictures in 1932, starring in notable films like The Old Dark House, 1932, and The Invisible Man, 1933, both of which became early landmarks of the horror genre. She also appeared in popular Shirley Temple musicals like Poor Little Rich Girl, 1936, and Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, 1938. Her beauty and screen presence quickly made her a sought-after actress. Despite her early success, Gloria never was content with the types of roles offered, desiring to take on more challenging dramatic parts. She eventually left the film industry to pursue theater and her passion for the visual arts. Beyond acting, Stuart became an accomplished painter and fine printer, with her artwork included in major collections such as those at the J. Paul Getty Museum. She cultivated skills in printmaking and bonsai cultivation, further expressing her artistic temperament. After nearly 6 decades away from the screen, Gloria made her celebrated comeback with her role in Titanic, playing the older Rose who recounts the story of the ill-fated ship. At age 87, she became the oldest nominee for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, a testament to her enduring talent and grace. Her performance won a Screen Actors Guild Award and restored her place in cinematic history. Diagnosed with lung cancer at the age of 94, 5 years before her passing, she fought the illness with resilience, living to celebrate her 100th birthday. Gloria Stuart died peacefully in her sleep on September 26, 2010, at her home in West Los Angeles. Gloria Stuart is remembered as a pioneer of early Hollywood cinema, a talented and dedicated artist, and an inspiring example of longevity, grace, and passion in both life and art. Her legacy beautifully combines her contributions to film and visual artistry, bridging multiple generations of creative excellence. June Lockhart passed away at the age of 99. June Lockhart was a celebrated American actress whose career spanned over 8 decades, making her one of the last living connections to Hollywood's golden age. Born June Kathleen Lockhart on June 25, 1925 in New York City into a family of actors, she grew up immersed in performance arts, later becoming one of television's most beloved mother figures. June is the daughter of Canadian actor Gene Lockhart and English actress Kathleen Lockhart, both respected in their own rights. She made her first professional stage appearance at age 8 and soon transitioned to film, debuting in MGM's A Christmas Carol, 1938, alongside her parents. Early in her career, she appeared in notable films such as Meet Me in St. Louis, 1944, Sergeant York, 1941, and Son of Lassie, 1945. However, it was her work in television that earned her enduring fame. In the 1950s and 1960s, Lockhart won the hearts of viewers as Ruth Martin on the long-running TV series Lassie, 1958-1964, portraying the nurturing and steadfast mother of Timmy Martin. She later brought her warmth and strength to the role of Dr. Maureen Robinson on the groundbreaking science fiction series Lost in Space, 1965-1968. Her performance blended maternal affection with intelligence and courage, breaking new ground for female roles on television. Beyond these iconic roles, Lockhart also featured as Dr. Janet Craig on Petticoat Junction and made appearances in popular westerns and dramas such as Wagon Train, Gunsmoke, and Have Gun, Will Travel. She was nominated twice for a Primetime Emmy Award and won a Tony Award in 1948 for Outstanding Performance by a newcomer in For Love or Money on Broadway, confirming her versatility as both stage and screen actress. Lockhart also contributed her talents as a narrator for ballets and hosted major televised events like the Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants. She remained a beloved figure well into her later years, making guest appearances on shows such as Full House and The Drew Carey Show. Throughout her life, June Lockhart was known for her grace, professionalism, and ability to adapt across genres and eras of entertainment. She passed away peacefully, leaving behind a legacy that celebrates a lifetime of inspiring, maternal roles and significant contributions to American television and theater. Bob Hope passed away at the age of 100. Bob Hope was a legendary British-born American comedian, actor, and entertainer whose career spanned nearly 8 decades. Known for his rapid-fire delivery of jokes, one-liners, and impeccable comedic timing, Hope became one of the most beloved entertainers in the United States, famous for bringing laughter and joy to millions through vaudeville, radio, television, film, and his tireless work entertaining U.S. troops overseas with the USO. Born Lester Towns Hope on May 29, 1903, in Eltham, London, England, he immigrated to the United States with his family at the age of 4 and grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Before fully committing to show business, Hope tried his hand at boxing under the name Packy East, showing early signs of his tough and resilient spirit. He later pursued entertainment through vaudeville, Broadway, and radio, where his loquacious style and quick wit found a perfect home. Hope made his first film appearance in The Big Broadcast of 1938, showcasing his talents with the debut of Thanks for the Memory, which would become his signature song. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Hope starred in numerous hit comedies, including a series of Road to Sramp films alongside Bing Crosby and Dorothy Lamour. These films, like Road to Singapore and Road to Morocco, cemented his status as a box office draw with their innovative blend of slapstick, musical numbers, and banter. Hope hosted the Academy Award ceremony more times than anyone else, 19 times in total, bringing his signature humor and charisma to Hollywood's biggest night. He also won an Emmy Award for one of his Christmas specials and was a pioneering figure in television, transitioning successfully from radio to the new medium. One of the defining aspects of Hope's career was his unwavering dedication to the U.S. military through his USO tours. Between 1941 and 1991, he traveled extensively to entertain American troops in war zones, including World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the Gulf War, becoming a symbol of hope and morale for soldiers worldwide. In recognition of this service, Congress declared him an honorary veteran, a unique honor acknowledging his importance beyond entertainment. Hope's style was characterized by self-deprecating humor and a persona that invited audiences to laugh both at and with him. Despite changing entertainment landscapes and evolving comedic tastes, he remained a beloved figure well into his later years until retiring from public life in 1999. Bob Hope's passing on July 27, 2003, marked the end of an era of American entertainment. His legacy lives on in his films, radio recordings, television specials, and the countless moments of laughter and comfort he provided across generations. Known as America's favorite clown, Hope's influence continues to resonate in comedy and beyond. Bruce Bennett. Passed away at the age of 100, Bruce Bennett was an American actor and Olympic silver medalist whose versatile career in film and television spanned nearly 5 decades. Born Harold Herman Brix on May 19, 1906, in Tacoma, Washington, Bennett initially rose to fame as a talented athlete, earning a silver medal in shot put at the 1928 Amsterdam Olympics before transitioning to a successful acting career. After completing his athletic achievements, Bennett moved to Los Angeles in 1929 and befriended actor Douglas Fairbanks Jr., who helped him secure a screen test with Paramount Pictures. Initially cast as Tarzan for a silent film series, an injury during the filming of Touchdown, 1931, led to losing the role to Johnny Weissmuller. However, Bennett starred in a 1935 serial called The New Adventures of Tarzan, praised for portraying a sophisticated and articulate jungle hero, a departure from the typical Tarzan character of the time. He also starred in Republic Pictures' Hawk of the Wilderness, 1938, playing the Tarzan-like character Kyoga. Realizing the limitations of being typecast as Tarzan, Bennett changed his stage name from Herman Brix to Bruce Bennett in the early 1940s and moved to Warner Brothers, where he reinvented himself as a leading man and character actor. His filmography includes notable titles such as Sahara, 1943, Mildred Pierce, 1945, alongside Joan Crawford, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, 1948, with Humphrey Bogart, Dark Passage, 1947, Sudden Fear, 1952, and Strategic Air Command, 1955. In addition to films, Bennett appeared in television series including Perry Mason, Science Fiction Theater, and Stories of the Century. He co-wrote and starred in the cult classic Fiend of Dope Island, 1961. Despite his film and TV success, Bennett retired from acting in 1960 and pursued a career in business, becoming a sales manager for a vending machine company, occasionally returning for TV guest roles. Known for his athletic build, refined performances, and professionalism, Bruce Bennett remains a respected figure in Hollywood history. He lent gravity and charm to a wide array of roles, from jungle hero to noir leading man, showcasing impressive range beyond his athletic beginnings. Bennett passed away on February 24, 2007, in Santa Monica, California, from complications following a broken hip. His centenarian life and multifaceted career left a rich legacy in American cinema and sport, bridging the worlds of Olympic achievement and classic Hollywood stardom. Nina Andrycz passed away at the age of 101. Nina Andrycz was a renowned Polish actress often celebrated as the Great Dame of Polish theater. Born on November 11, 1912, in Brzesk, then part of the Russian Empire, now Brest, Belarus, she had a prolific career spanning over 7 decades, during which she became an iconic figure in Polish stage, film, and television. Nina's early life was marked by academic rigor. She studied law at Wilno University before dedicating herself to the arts. She began her acting career in the mid-1930s and quickly gained acclaim for her powerful stage presence and dramatic versatility. Throughout her long tenure at Polski Theater in Warsaw, from 1934 to 2004, she captivated audiences with a wide range of roles that showcased her emotional depth and commanding voice. Her filmography includes poignant performances in classic Polish, films such as Uczta Baltazara, 1954, Horror w Wesołych Bagniskach, 1995, and A Warm Heart, 2008. Nina's talent was not limited to the screen. She was also a cherished participant in the Polish Radio Theater and the TVP Theater, earning accolades for her contributions to the cultural life of Poland. Beyond acting, Andrycz was also a poetess, publishing 3 volumes of poetry and an autobiography that detailed her rich life experiences. Her literary work was recognized with a prestigious literary award from the city of Warsaw, highlighting her multifaceted creative talents. Nina was known for her elegance and her ability to bring complex characters to life on stage and screen. She was married to Józef Cyrankiewicz, a prominent Polish politician from 1947 until their divorce in 1968, intertwining her life with significant historical and political events in Poland. Remarkably, Nina Andrycz continued to act into her late 90s, making her last stage appearance at the age of 98 in 2011. She passed away on January 31, 2014, in Warsaw, leaving behind a legacy as one of Poland's most respected and enduring artistic figures. Throughout her life, she was honored with multiple national awards, including the Gold Cross of Merit and the Order of Polonia Restituta, for her outstanding contributions to Polish culture. Nina Andrycz's life and career embody a remarkable dedication to the arts, resilience through turbulent historical times, and a lasting influence on Polish theater and cinema. Alfie Scopp passed away at the age of 101. Alfie Scopp was a distinguished Canadian actor and voice artist known for his extensive work in television, radio, film, and theater. Born Alfred Scopp on September 15, 1919, in London, England, he emigrated to Montreal, Canada, with his family as a child. Scopp's long career touched many facets of entertainment, but he is perhaps best remembered for his voice roles in beloved classic animations such as the 1964 Christmas special, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the 1961 animated series Tales of the Wizard of Oz. Scopp's early life was shaped by his diverse heritage. He was the son of a Russian Jewish father and English mother, and his passion for the arts was ignited during his youth. During World War II, he served in the Royal Canadian Air Force stationed in Newfoundland, where he also began working in radio at the local station CBG-AM, which launched his entertainment career. After the war, he attended the Lorne Greene Academy of Radio Arts in Toronto, where he trained alongside notable figures such as Leslie Nielsen and Gordy Tapp. Alfie Scopp's career spanned decades, with credits including performances in theater, productions across Toronto, and involvement with the National Film Board of Canada. His voice work in particular resonated, with memorable characters like Socrates the Straw Man in Tales of the Wizard of Oz, and various roles in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer such as Charlie in the Box and Fireball the Reindeer, making him a cherished part of many childhoods. In addition to voice acting, Scopp appeared in films such as the acclaimed Fiddler on the Roof, 1971, where he played the character Avram. His television appearances included early Canadian drama anthologies like General Motors Theatre, as well as series like The Littlest Hobo and Seeing Things. Alfie Scopp passed away on July 24, 2021, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, leaving behind a rich legacy as one of the last living voices of classic animation and a respected figure in Canadian entertainment history. His longevity and contributions highlight a committed artistic life spanning radio, stage, screen, and voiceover, remembered fondly by colleagues and audiences alike. Would you like me to write the next celebrity script? Passed away at the age of 101, Alfie Scopp was a renowned Canadian actor and voice artist whose long and diverse career spanned television, film, theater, and radio. Born Alfred Scopp on September 15, 1919, in London, England, he and his family emigrated to Montreal, Canada, during his childhood. His rich heritage, with a Russian Jewish father and an English mother, intertwined with his Canadian upbringing to shape a lifelong multidimensional artistic path. Alfie's career began during his time in the Royal Canadian Air Force in Newfoundland, during World War II. Here, he cultivated his passion for radio, eventually attending the Lorne Greene Academy of Radio Arts, where he trained alongside prominent figures like Leslie Nielsen. His distinct voice and acting gift led to extensive work in theater and television in Toronto, as well as notable voice acting roles that enchanted audiences across generations. He is most celebrated for his voice parts in the classic Rankin Bass Christmas special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964, where he brought to life memorable characters such as Charlie in the Box and the fiery reindeer Fireball. Moreover, his performance as Socrates the Strawman in the animated tales of The Wizard of Oz, 1961, solidified his place within beloved holiday traditions and animated storytelling. In addition to voice work, Alfie appeared in the acclaimed 1971 film Fiddler on the Roof as Avram, contributing to a film that won multiple Academy Awards and became a landmark of musical cinema. His television credits include early Canadian drama anthologies such as General Motors Theatre, appearances on The Littlest Hobo, and other classic series, making him a familiar presence in mid-20th century North American television. Alfie Scopp passed away in Toronto on July 24, 2021, celebrated as one of the last surviving cast members of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and a treasured contributor to Canadian arts. His career bridged the golden age of radio through the dawn of television animation, marking him as a versatile and enduring figure whose voice and performances continue to resonate. Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke, childhood and early life. Richard Wayne. Dick Van, known to the world as Dick Van Dyke, was born on December 13, 1925 in West Plains, Missouri, to parents Hazel Victoria McCord and Lord Wayne Dick Van. His father worked as a salesman, and the family moved frequently during Dick's early years, eventually settling in Danville, Illinois when he was still young. This small Midwestern town would become the backdrop for much of his formative years, and would instill in him the wholesome, down-to-earth values that would later become synonymous with his public persona. Growing up during the Great Depression, the Dick Van family faced financial hardships like many American families of that era. Despite these challenges, Dick's childhood was filled with creativity and performance. He showed an early aptitude for entertaining others, often putting on shows for his family and neighbors. His natural comedic timing and physical comedy skills began to emerge during these impromptu performances in his backyard and local community gatherings. Dick was not alone in his artistic inclinations. His younger brother, Jerry Dick Van, would also go on to become a successful entertainer, though he would always remain somewhat in Dick's shadow. The two brothers shared a close bond and often performed together during their youth, creating elaborate skits and comedy routines that delighted their parents and local audiences. This early collaboration with Jerry helped Dick develop his sense of timing and his ability to work with others in comedic situations. School life for Dick was relatively unremarkable academically, but he excelled in extracurricular activities, particularly those involving performance. He participated in school plays and talent shows, where his natural charisma and physical comedy abilities began to shine. Teachers and classmates alike recognized his special talent for making people laugh, though few could have predicted the extraordinary career that lay ahead of him. During his teenage years, Dick worked various odd jobs to help support his family, including stints at a local radio station where he first got a taste of show business. These early experiences in radio taught him valuable lessons about timing, voice projection, and connecting with an audience, even when they couldn't see him. The skills he developed during these formative radio experiences would prove invaluable throughout his later career in television and film. The influence of vaudeville and early entertainment forms was strong during Dick's youth. He studied the great physical comedians of the era, including Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and Harold Lloyd, absorbing their techniques and incorporating elements of their styles into his own developing comedic persona. This classical foundation in physical comedy would become one of his most distinctive traits as a performer. World War II interrupted Dick's young adult years, and like many men of his generation, he served in the military. However, his service was brief and took place stateside, allowing him to continue developing his entertainment skills even while in uniform. He organized shows for fellow servicemen and continued to hone his craft during this period, viewing it as an opportunity rather than an interruption to his budding career aspirations. After his military service, Dick returned to civilian life, with a clearer vision of what he wanted to do with his future. The experiences of his childhood and young adulthood had shaped him into a performer with a unique blend of physical comedy, musical ability, and genuine likability that would soon captivate audiences across America and beyond. Rise to fame and successful films. Dick Van Dyke's journey to stardom began in earnest during the 1950s, when he moved to New York City to pursue his entertainment dreams. His early career was marked by persistence and gradual recognition, starting with nightclub performances and television variety shows. His big break came when he was cast in the Broadway musical Bye Bye Birdie in 1960, where his portrayal of Albert Peterson showcased his triple threat abilities as a singer, dancer, and actor. This role would prove to be pivotal, as it not only established him as a Broadway star, but also led directly to his most iconic television role. The success of Bye Bye Birdie caught the attention of television producers, most notably Carl Reiner, who was developing a new situation comedy. In 1961, The Dick Van Dyke Show premiered on CBS, and it would go on to become one of the most beloved and critically acclaimed sitcoms in television history. Van Dyke's portrayal of Rob Petrie, a comedy writer living in suburban New Rochelle with his wife Laura, played by Mary Tyler Moore, was a perfect blend of physical comedy, verbal wit, and relatable domestic situations. The show ran for 5 seasons and won numerous Emmy Awards, establishing Dick Van Dyke as one of America's most cherished entertainers. The chemistry between Dick Van and Mary Tyler Moore was electric, and their on-screen relationship became the gold standard for television couples. Van Dyke's physical comedy was on full display in the show, most memorably in the opening credits where he would trip over the ottoman in the living room. This simple gag became one of the most recognizable moments in television history, and perfectly encapsulated Van Dyke's gift for physical humor. The show also featured memorable supporting characters, including Maury Amsterdam and Rosemary as Rob's comedy writing partners, and the dynamic between the entire cast created television magic that has rarely been equaled. Following the success of his television show, Hollywood came calling and Dick Van Dyke made a successful transition to film. His most famous and enduring movie role came in 1964, when he was cast as Bert, the chimney sweep, in Walt Disney's Mary Poppins. Starring opposite Julie Andrews, Dick Van brought his considerable charm and dancing abilities to the role, creating one of cinema's most beloved characters. His performances of Chim Chim Chair E and Step in Time became iconic musical numbers. Though his attempt at a Cockney accent became the subject of gentle mockery over the years, despite this, his energy and enthusiasm made Bert an unforgettable character, and the film became one of Disney's greatest classics. The success of Mary Poppins led to another collaboration with Disney in 1968's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, where Dick Van played Caractacus Potts, an eccentric inventor who creates a magical flying car. This film, based on Ian Fleming's children's book, allowed Dick Van to showcase his singing and dancing talents once again, particularly in numbers like Me Old Bamboo and Toot Sweets. While not as universally acclaimed as Mary Poppins, the film has maintained a devoted following and further cemented Van Dyke's reputation as a family-friendly entertainer who could bring wonder and joy to audiences of all ages. During the 1970s and 1980s, Dick Van continued to work steadily in both television and film, though he never quite recaptured the massive success of his earlier works. He starred in The New Dick Van Dyke Show from 1971 to 1974, playing a television talk show host, but the series failed to match the magic of his original show. He also appeared in various television movies and specials, always maintaining his reputation as a consummate professional and beloved performer. One of Van Dyke's most significant later television successes came with Diagnosis Murder, which ran from 1993 to 2001. In this series, he played Dr. Mark Sloan, a physician who solved crimes in his spare time. The show was a hit, particularly with older audiences, and demonstrated Dick Van's enduring appeal and his ability to carry a series well into his 60s and 70s. The show also featured his son, Barry Dick Van, in a regular role, making it a family affair and showcasing the next generation of Dick Van talent. Throughout his film and television career, Dick Van Dyke became synonymous with wholesome family entertainment. His performances were characterized by an infectious joy and enthusiasm that translated beautifully to screen. He possessed a rare ability to be funny without being mean-spirited, entertaining without being crude, and charming without being artificial. This unique combination of qualities made him a favorite among audiences of multiple generations, and established him as one of the most trusted faces in American entertainment. Dick Van's influence on comedy and entertainment extends far beyond his own performances. Many comedians and actors have cited him as an inspiration, particularly for his mastery of physical comedy and his ability to find humor in everyday situations. His work on The Dick Van Dyke Show helped establish many conventions of the modern sitcom, and his film performances demonstrated how musical comedy could work effectively in cinema. The longevity of Dick Van's career is testament to his talent and professionalism. Unlike many entertainers who experience brief periods of fame, Dick Van managed to maintain relevance and continue working across multiple decades, adapting to changing times while staying true to his core appeal. His successful films and television shows created a body of work that continues to entertain new generations of viewers, ensuring his place in the pantheon of American entertainment legends. Health challenges and medical struggles. Throughout his long life and career, Dick Van Dyke has faced numerous health challenges that have tested his resilience and determination. Despite his public image as an eternally youthful and energetic performer, Dick Van has battled several serious medical conditions that have significantly impacted his personal and professional life. His openness about these struggles has not only humanized him in the eyes of his fans, but has also helped raise awareness about various health issues affecting older adults. One of Dick Van's most publicized health battles has been his struggle with alcoholism, a condition that plagued him for many years during the height of his career. The pressures of fame, combined with the social drinking culture of Hollywood in the 1960s and 1970s, led Dick Van down a path of alcohol dependency that threatened both his health and his career. He has been remarkably candid about this struggle, describing how alcohol became a coping mechanism for dealing with the stresses of show business and personal insecurities. The problem became so severe that it began affecting his work performance and personal relationships, forcing him to confront the reality of his addiction. Van Dyke's journey to sobriety was neither quick nor easy. He tried multiple approaches to overcome his drinking problem, including various rehabilitation programs and support groups. What ultimately helped him achieve lasting sobriety was a combination of professional treatment, family support, and his own determination to regain control of his life. He has been sober for several decades now and frequently speaks about the importance of seeking help for addiction, using his platform to encourage others who might be struggling with similar issues. His recovery became a testament to the possibility of overcoming addiction, even for those in high-pressure careers. In addition to his battle with alcoholism, Dick Van has faced several other significant health challenges as he has aged. One of the most mysterious and troubling conditions he experienced was a neurological disorder that caused severe symptoms including leg spasms, fatigue, and disorientation. For several years, doctors were unable to properly diagnose this condition, leaving Dick Van frustrated and increasingly debilitated. The symptoms were so severe that they affected his ability to perform and participate in normal daily activities. The mystery illness that plagued Dick Van was eventually diagnosed as a result of dental work gone wrong. it was discovered that titanium implants in his mouth were causing a severe allergic reaction that manifested as neurological symptoms. Once the implants were removed and replaced with different materials, his symptoms gradually improved, though the experience left him weakened and more cautious about medical procedures. This ordeal highlighted the importance of proper medical diagnosis and the sometimes unexpected connections between different parts of the body's systems. Van Dyck has also dealt with the typical health challenges that come with advanced age. As he entered his 80s and 90s, he experienced issues with mobility and balance, conditions that were particularly challenging for someone whose career was built on physical comedy and energetic performances. These mobility issues forced him to use walking aids and be more careful about his movements. A significant adjustment for someone who had spent decades entertaining audiences with his physical agility. Sleep disorders have been another ongoing health concern for Dick Van. He has suffered from various sleep-related issues, including sleep apnea and insomnia, conditions that are common among older adults, but can be particularly challenging for performers who need to maintain energy and mental clarity for their work. These sleep problems have required ongoing medical management and lifestyle adjustments to ensure he gets adequate rest. Despite his various health challenges, Dick Van has maintained a remarkably positive attitude and continued to work well into his 90s. His approach to health has evolved over the years, incorporating regular exercise, proper nutrition, and stress management techniques. He has become an advocate for healthy aging, often speaking about the importance of staying active both physically and mentally as one gets older. Van Dyck's experience with the healthcare system has also made him aware of the challenges facing older adults in navigating medical care. He has used his platform to advocate for better healthcare for seniors and has been vocal about the need for more research into age-related conditions. His willingness to discuss his health struggles openly has helped reduce stigma around various medical conditions and has encouraged others to seek help when needed. The impact of these health challenges on Van Dyck's career has been significant, but not career-ending. While he has had to slow down and be more selective about his projects, he has continued to work and perform, adapting his style and approach to accommodate his physical limitations. His resilience in the face of these challenges has been inspiring to many fans and fellow performers, demonstrating that health problems don't have to mean the end of a creative life. Van Dyck's health journey has also strengthened his relationships with family and friends, as he has had to rely more heavily on their support during difficult times. This increased dependence on others has been both challenging and rewarding, deepening his appreciation for the people in his life and reinforcing the importance of maintaining strong social connections as one ages. Throughout all of his health struggles, Dick Van has maintained his sense of humor and optimism, often joking about his various ailments and treatments. This attitude has not only helped him cope with his own challenges, but has also provided comfort and inspiration to others facing similar health issues. His example shows that it's possible to age gracefully while dealing with serious health problems, maintaining dignity and joy even in the face of physical limitations. Personal losses and family tragedies. Like many individuals who have lived a long life, Dick Van Dyck has experienced his share of profound personal losses and heartbreaking moments that have shaped his character and perspective on life. These experiences, while deeply painful, have also contributed to his wisdom, empathy, and appreciation for the precious moments of joy that life offers. His ability to continue bringing happiness to others while dealing with personal grief has been a testament to his strength and resilience. One of the most significant relationships in Van Dyck's life was his marriage to Margie Willett, whom he married in 1948 when he was still a young man trying to make his way in show business. Their marriage lasted 36 years and produced 4 children: Christian, Barry, Stacy, and Carrie Beth. However, like many Hollywood marriages, theirs faced considerable strain due to the demands of Van Dyck's career, his struggles with alcoholism, and the pressures of life in the public eye. The couple eventually divorced in 1984, a decision that was emotionally devastating for Dick Van, who had hoped to maintain his marriage despite their problems. The divorce from Margie was particularly difficult because it represented the end of a relationship that had sustained him through the early uncertain years of his career and had been the foundation of his family life. Van Dyke has spoken about the guilt and regret he felt regarding the breakdown of his marriage, acknowledging that his drinking problem and career obsessions contributed significantly to their marital problems. The divorce also meant spending less time with his children during their formative years, something that continued to weigh on him for years afterward. Following his divorce, Dick Van entered into a long-term relationship with Michelle Triola, an actress and activist who was previously known for her relationship with actor Lee Marvin. Their relationship lasted over 30 years from 1976 until Michelle's death in 2009. Michelle became a stabilizing force in Dick Van's life, supporting him through his recovery from alcoholism and helping him navigate the challenges of aging in Hollywood. She was also instrumental in encouraging his continued work and maintaining his physical and mental health as he entered his later years. Michelle Triola's death in 2009 was a devastating blow to Dick Van. After more than 3 decades together, she had become not just his romantic partner, but his closest companion and confidant. Her loss left him feeling isolated and uncertain about how to continue without her support and companionship. The grief he experienced following her death was compounded by his advanced age and the realization that he was facing the final chapters of his own life without his most important companion. Within the Dick Van family, there have been additional sources of sorrow and concern. His brother, Jerry Dick Van, who had his own successful career in entertainment, struggled with various personal and professional challenges throughout his life. While Jerry achieved recognition for his role on the television series Coach and other projects, he never quite reached the same level of success as his older brother, which sometimes created tension and feelings of inadequacy within their relationship. Jerry's death in 2018 was another significant loss for Dick, as the two brothers had maintained a close relationship despite the competitive nature of their careers. Van Dyke's children have also faced their own challenges and struggles, which have been sources of worry and heartache for their father. While some of his children, particularly Barry Dick Van, followed in their father's footsteps and achieved success in the entertainment industry, others have struggled with personal issues, including addiction and relationship problems. As a father, Dick Van has had to watch helplessly as some of his children faced difficulties that he couldn't solve or fix, despite his desire to protect and help them. The entertainment industry itself has been a source of ongoing loss for Dick Van, as he has outlived many of his closest friends and colleagues. Mary Tyler Moore, his beloved co-star from The Dick Van Dyke Show, passed away in 2017, ending a friendship that had lasted over 50 years. Their relationship had been one of the most important professional partnerships of his career, and her death represented the loss of someone who truly understood the unique experiences they had shared during their time working together. Other significant losses include the deaths of his Dick Van Dyke Show co-stars My Amsterdam and Rosemary, both of whom had been not just colleagues, but close friends for decades. These losses have been particularly poignant because they represent the gradual disappearance of the people who shared his most cherished professional memories. As one of the few surviving main cast members of the show, Dick Van has increasingly found himself as the keeper of memories and stories that fewer and fewer people can corroborate or fully appreciate. The loss of friends and colleagues from Mary Poppins has also been emotionally difficult. Julie Andrews remains a dear friend, but many others associated with the production have passed away over the years, taking with them shared memories of creating one of cinema's most beloved films. These losses serve as constant reminders of the passage of time and the temporary nature of even the most magical professional experiences. Dick Van has also experienced the loss of mentors and inspirational figures who helped shape his career and artistic development. The deaths of comedy legends who influenced his work, such as Stan Laurel and other vaudeville performers he admired, have served as reminders of the end of entire eras of entertainment that he helped bridge into the modern age. Despite these numerous losses, Dick Van has demonstrated remarkable resilience and an ability to find meaning and purpose even in grief. He has often spoken about how the deaths of loved ones have reinforced his appreciation for the time he has left and his determination to continue creating joy for others. Rather than becoming bitter or withdrawn, he has used his experiences with loss to deepen his empathy and connection with others who are facing similar challenges. The way Van Dyke has handled grief and loss has also influenced his approach to his own mortality. He has become more philosophical about death and aging, often expressing gratitude for the long life he has been given and the extraordinary experiences he has had. This perspective has allowed him to continue working and engaging with life even as he faces his own physical limitations and the reality of his advanced age. Dick Van's experiences with loss have also strengthened his relationships with his surviving family members and friends. He has become more intentional about spending time with loved ones and expressing his appreciation for their presence in his life. These relationships have become even more precious to him as he has learned firsthand how quickly and unexpectedly they can be taken away. Dick Van Dyke. Today, life at 99 and current activities. As of 2025, Dick Van Dyke stands as one of the most remarkable examples of vitality and continued creativity in his late 90s. At 99 years old, he defies many of the stereotypes associated with advanced age, continuing to work, perform, and engage with life in ways that inspire people decades younger than himself. His current lifestyle and ongoing activities demonstrate that age need not be a barrier to continued growth, creativity, and contribution to society. One of the most surprising aspects of Dick Van's current life is his marriage to Arlene Silver, a makeup artist who is 46 years his junior. The couple married in 2012, when Dick Van was 86 years old after meeting at the Saji Awards where Silver was working. Their relationship initially raised eyebrows due to the significant age difference, but those who know them describe their marriage as genuinely loving and mutually supportive. Arlene has become not only Dick Van's wife, but also his caregiver, companion, and biggest advocate, helping him maintain his independence and continue pursuing his passions. The marriage to Arlene has brought new energy and purpose to Van Dyke's life. She encourages his continued work and helps him navigate the practical challenges of aging while maintaining his dignity and autonomy. Their relationship demonstrates that meaningful connections can be formed at any stage of life, and that love doesn't adhere to conventional timelines or societal expectations. Arlene's presence has allowed Dick Van to continue living in his own home and maintaining many of his daily routines and activities. Despite his advanced age, Dick Van continues to make occasional public appearances and even takes on selective acting projects. His appearances at award shows, interviews, and special events are always met with tremendous enthusiasm from audiences who are amazed by his continued vitality and sharp wit. These public appearances serve multiple purposes. They allow him to stay connected with his fans, maintain his relevance in the entertainment industry, and demonstrate that aging doesn't have to mean withdrawal from public life. One of Dick Van's most notable recent projects was his appearance in the 2018 sequel Mary Poppins Returns, where he reprised elements of his original role as an older character. His participation in this film was particularly meaningful, as it allowed him to revisit one of his most beloved characters and work with a new generation of performers, including Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda. The fact that Disney wanted to include the 93-year-old Dick Van in this major production speaks to his enduring appeal and the respect he commands within the industry. Physical fitness remains a priority for Dick Van. Though his exercise routine has necessarily adapted to his age and physical limitations, he continues to work with physical therapists and maintains a modified exercise regimen designed to preserve his mobility and strength. While he may no longer be able to perform the elaborate dance numbers that made him famous, he still moves with surprising grace and maintains better physical condition than many people half his age. Dick Van's commitment to staying mentally active is equally impressive. He continues to read extensively, stay informed about current events, and engage in conversations about contemporary issues. His mental acuity remains sharp, and he can still recall detailed stories and experiences from throughout his long career. This mental engagement is likely one of the key factors in his continued vitality and overall well-being. Technology has played an interesting role in Dick Van's current life. While he's not particularly tech-savvy by modern standards, he has embraced certain aspects of digital communication that allow him to stay connected with family, friends, and fans. Social media, managed largely by others, has given him a platform to share updates about his life and express his thoughts on various topics. His occasional posts and videos often go viral, as people are delighted to see updates from the beloved entertainer. Dick Van's relationship with his children and grandchildren continues to be a source of joy and purpose in his current life. As a grandfather and great-grandfather, he takes pleasure in spending time with younger family members and sharing stories from his career and life experiences. These family relationships provide him with a sense of continuity and legacy, knowing that his values and memories will be passed down to future generations. Philanthropy and charitable work remain important to Dick Van. Though his involvement has necessarily become more limited due to his age, he continues to support various causes, particularly those related to education, the arts, and healthcare. For seniors, his name and reputation continue to be valuable assets for charitable organizations, and he occasionally participates in fundraising events or lends his support to worthy causes. The entertainment industry continues to honor Van Dyke's contributions, and he remains a respected figure among his peers. He receives Lifetime Achievement Awards, honorary degrees, and other recognitions that celebrate his long career and lasting impact on American entertainment. These honors serve not only as recognition of his past achievements, but also as acknowledgement of his continued relevance and the affection in which he is held by the industry and the public. Van Dyke's daily routine in his late 90s is necessarily more structured and careful than it once was, but it still includes many of the activities that have always brought him joy. He continues to sing, though perhaps not as frequently or as vigorously as in his younger days. He still tells jokes and entertains those around him, maintaining the sense of humor and playfulness that has characterized his entire life and career. Looking toward the future, Dick Van approaches each day with gratitude and curiosity rather than fear or regret. He has expressed in interviews that he feels fortunate to have lived such a long and fulfilling life, and he continues to find reasons to be optimistic about each new day. His attitude toward aging serves as an inspiration to others, demonstrating that it's possible to maintain dignity, purpose, and joy even in the final chapters of life. Van Dyke's current status as one of the last surviving stars of Hollywood's golden age gives him a unique position as a living link to entertainment history. His memories and experiences represent a valuable connection to a bygone era of show business, and his continued presence serves as a bridge between past and present for both fans and fellow entertainers. As he approaches his 100th birthday, Dick Van Dyke continues to embody the qualities that made him beloved throughout his career: warmth, humor, optimism, and genuine care for others. His current life demonstrates that aging, while inevitably bringing challenges and limitations, can also bring wisdom, perspective, and continued opportunities for growth and contribution.